Well, I guess we'll call this meeting to order. All right, we'll call this meeting Paintsville Utilities to order. First thing we do is roll call. Mitch? Here. LB? Here. Tricia?
Here.
Tim? Here. Before we move on to reviewing of the minutes, we're going to jump down under new business, section 8E, partnership resolution. Is that right?
Yes. That is the resolution you have in front of you there regarding the extension of our sewer line around Route 23. Also diversion of flow from west and northern side of our system from Paintsville plant to the Honey Branch plant. The resolution has already been approved by the City Council and Fiscal Court, and ask that the Paintsville Utilities Commission approve it as well.
Make a motion to approve it. Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed? Carries. We want to introduce Mark Kinsey.
So, second.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you all. We obviously passed that fiscal court resolution, and as we started evaluating a few months ago our economic development opportunities, we saw that we were going to be somewhat restricted to those opportunities because of, as you all know, the capacity issues you all deal with every day. And this sewer line extension seems to be the most likely solution for that, and it's going to help develop Tate's Branch property as well as south on 23, and we would even hope to have some increased opportunities on the Dawkins Trail in the Cliffs area because of this, because that will open up that opportunity as well, and pick up some folks who have some package plants that would like to get off their system. So just from a county perspective, I'd like to say thank you all for being a partner in this and driving this train for us, because we think it'll open up some opportunities economically for the whole area. So thank you all.
Appreciate it, Mark.
Very, very positive thing having the three entities working together on that.
All right, we'll move back up to the top of the agenda. Number 2, review and approval of minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor, aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Agenda item number 3, review and approval of the operating budget. Bob?
The ordinary.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Agenda item 4, consideration of construction pay requests.
We have 4 payment approval requests. Bell Engineering has invoice 190232 in the amount of $2,000, funded by Paintsville Utilities.
Make a motion to pay Bell Engineering invoice 190232 for $2,000.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye. Opposed? Ayes have
Bell Engineering has invoice 190233 in the amount of $550, funded by Paintsville Utilities.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
it. Motion second. All in favor, aye.
Aikens
Wait a
Excavating.
minute. All, we don't have, all in favor, aye? Yeah. I was like, wait, we have both on that one. Opposed? Ayes have it.
Opposed to ayes. Because you got to oppose first.
Yeah.
Aikens Excavating invoice number 18 for $172,648.44, funded by Rural Development.
Motion paid.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thomas Environmental does not have any pay requests this month. Bo Cook Engineering has invoice number 20 in the amount of $7,527.57, funded by Rural Development.
Motion to pay.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
That's all.
Thank you, Janet.
Agenda item 5, review and approval of the monthly invoices. 5A, legal service invoices.
Make a motion to pay ownership of all offices.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. 5B, other operating
Oh,
invoices.
show me on that.
Other operating invoices.
Ordinary operating expenses.
Make a motion to pay the other operating invoices.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Let's go through this with Source Technology. Was that a carryover from the month before?
Two different items.
They're both for $3,000.
I'm sure when they go boy.
Is that one, we had one that we didn't get the invoices?
Yeah, there was one, he said that was always like back in
I think
January.
it's what was, there was a missing invoice. Had been paid.
Unless it was just unusual to have two for the same month.
Yeah.
Departmental reports.
Do they have anything to add to what they've submitted? Well, some guys been busy over the weekend.
Agenda item 7A, full business downtown I-9.
Good.
Contract one, with Aikens, they got about 2,300 feet line, linear feet of line, put in this past month, making a total of about 44,700 linear feet totally installed in this project. That included 19 services cut in, and 6 of them were protruding into the line, which needed to be ground out. There was a repair of a 8-inch line near manhole 136. It was exposed and collapsed. It was replaced with about 16 feet of PVC pipe. There was 5 uncovered and raised manholes in the past month. 3 castings was changed and added bolt downs on the outfall line. On Main Street, there was a 4-inch line that passed through our 12-inch line, or our 8-inch line, which turned out to be AEP's line. AEP has come and looked at it, and I don't know if they got back with us yet or not, but they're looking into it. There was no manholes lined this month. What they're going to do is finish the project. There'll be about 50 manholes left to be lined, and they can do that in one time, so they're going to come in and finish it all at once. They'll take them about a week to do 50. The contract 2, there was no work done this past month with Thomas. Thomas has talked to his subcontractor as late as last Friday, and the subcontractor assured him he would move in today, this Monday, and Thomas basically told him that this is his last straw. If you don't get in and get the job done, he's going to take legal action against him. So
You move in today?
not always, no, not that I know of. That we checked this morning, and
I drove over that, I didn't see any activity.
no, I haven't seen. We haven't seen. Aikens is going to continue upcoming work. He's got 4 more castings to raise with bolt downs. He'll continue to do the lining. They're actually working on East Street right now. They were going to do that today. They heated the pipe up. There was a couple of protrusions from the laterals in the line. Once they got those out, they went on down and found some more, so that they had to finish grinding those out today, and they'll be lining that tomorrow, and that's a 12-inch line. That's a bigger line. As far as the subway, we're still, as far as I know, waiting on an easement to do it.
Oh, yeah.
And the rest of it's just
Where's manhole 136 at? You said it, I thought.
It's behind Station 1 Fire Department over here.
The one we talked about.
Yeah.
Which would have, when the water was up, that was a direct.
Yeah, said it was flowed right into it.
I think both of these ought to be under here.
Thank you, Jim. Agenda item 8, under new business. 8A, approval of organizational chart.
Yeah, what you have in front of you is the same thing you had last month, except that the assistant general manager has been raised up a line above the other.
Why wouldn't the engineer and the compliance assistant be under the operations manager? I think that, in my opinion, that's the operations manager, if he's gonna run the show there, he's got, those two should be under him.
A lot of your compliance things are administrative rather than operational.
In what way? I thought you had him out there doing smoke tests and doing all kinds of stuff.
We've had him doing that, but also some of your gas regulations, some reporting, the notifications we have to do.
I still think they should report to the operations manager. Personally. Matter of fact, I'll make that motion.
Well, we don't have an engineer right now.
And we said that if we did get an engineer, they didn't have to really be a PS, you know.
Right. Well, that would change the whole title for what's in there now.
That's the reason I think that those two should be under the operations manager.
Well, I think if you try to, the compliance assistant, I don't see an issue with that, but to me, you just have to get rid of the engineer block, since we don't even have one. And reinstate it at a later date if somebody was in a hurry. Then you can do it what you actually want to call it. Unless we are mandated to have an engineering.
Or not.
Because right now, I think your engineers are actually like on your grade scale, I think they're pretty high. And actually higher grade than what your operation manager is.
That's where we get into the argument about the grades, because
Yeah.
we're talking about what he's gonna do, what he's gonna be doing in his job.
We don't know what he's going to do because we don't have one.
But we know what we think we want him to do. I think.
I'm not sure, this seems to be putting an awful heavy load on the operations manager at this rate. I mean, I took off the compliance assistant, I took off the engineer. Just really leaves the CFO and the operations manager and a general manager. That's got everybody under the operations manager except the CFO.
That's the way it should be. If they're gonna operate.
Well, I don't have one duty though. So is there any more discussion? There is a motion on the floor to move the engineering block and the compliance assistant block under the operations manager.
Before I can second, I'd have to see what the job duties are of the engineer and the compliance assistant. I don't feel comfortable seconding without looking to see what their job duties actually entail. And I can see LB's point, but the engineer, I think, has to be, I don't think the engineer personally can be under the operations manager. Compliance assistant, maybe depending upon how we define his job duties, his or her job duties.
The way I understand it, you've been using the compliance manager just to the things that you need at that day,
Right.
which is, you know.
Yeah, but I still think just because he's doing something based on what the manager may need to do today, still if his job duties are much broader than that, then I don't know that the pigeonholing below the operations manager would be the proper place to put him, if it's more administrative than what he's currently doing. You want the compliance person to have some standing beyond where he can question people in terms of what they're doing. If he's below the operations manager, thus answerable to the operations manager, then that takes some of his subjectivity out of it, or objectivity. It makes him more subjective because he's got an answer to the operations manager. To me, compliance needs to be outside just about of everybody. He's telling everybody, I understand that you're higher in the chain of command, but you're not doing something in compliance with whatever reg or law or whatever, and he doesn't want to step on toes, because if you have him in a direct line for the chain of command, he's going to be less likely to be very candid in terms of what he's supposed to do.
You're talking about a human resources person,
No,
HR.
No, I'm talking about compliance for regs and statutes and all that kind of stuff. He has to be, that person has to be standalone where he can call into question everybody else's conduct. And if you put him below somebody where he doesn't feel that he can call their conduct into question, then to me, I just don't think that needs to be there. I think that person needs to be able to question everybody in terms of their compliance with the regulations.
If that was what he was doing, that would be, but that's not what you set him up to do yet, have you?
He does some of that, but with this project we've had going on, we've put him where we needed him.
Let's do it this way. Let's talk about real life then. The situation where we put in an improper sized pipe. If your compliance person is monitoring that and he's below the operations manager, he might let that slide. Whereas if he's outside that and he's not answerable to the operations manager, he is free to go tell the assistant general manager or the general manager or himself to say, you're not doing that in compliance with the contract. Therefore, he stands alone and he's out there to make sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. If you put him below somebody, I think that brings into question whether or not he's going to question it or not.
Well, you're talking about utopia though, because what you're talking about right now, we don't have. You're setting up a job description that we're not doing.
We've already set up the job description.
Well, he's not doing that.
Well, I can't help what he's doing or what he's not doing. What I'm saying is what he's supposed to be doing.
The reason I was setting it up that way is so that the general manager can have him doing what he needs to be doing the way they're doing now. Now, if you're going to set up a job the way you're talking about and do the utopia and he does it that way, that's fine. But that's not the way it's set up now.
It's set up now because we have a job description for the compliance assistant. Whether or not he's doing what's outlined in that, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's up to Bob. But I know that he does have a job description of what he's supposed to do. And I know that it's involved in enforcement of the laws and regulations and the contracts.
Well, if he's going to do the job that you're describing, I've got no problem with it. But if he's going to do the job that Bob's describing and the way he's doing it, then I've got a problem.
Well, then we need to change his job description.
That's right.
He's not a true compliance officer.
So we need to leave the compliance officer position. Because you're right, these people this person cannot be running the whole show without someone questioning.
If you're going to make him a compliance officer, he needs to be a compliance officer. But right now, he is not a compliance
They're
officer.
working that way.
Well, that's not the question, working that way. You can't have him doing 30,000 other things and being a compliance, can you? I don't know.
So, without there being a second, that motion dies.
Now we got a new compliance officer.
I'll make a motion that we approve the organizational chart as presented.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
All in favor, aye? Opposed? Ayes have it. 8B, the mowing contract, the change order.
We have a request a change order to expand the mowing, cutting, trimming services to both sewer plants, is for $15,400. Given the the scope of the mowing, especially at the Honey Branch plant, that seems like a reasonable number.
Make a motion that we approve the change order with no worries to include the mowing services at the two wastewater plants in the amount of $15,400.
I'll second.
All in favor, aye? Opposed? Ayes have it. 8C, the Microcom Service Contract Renewal.
This is for the maintenance plan on our telemetry system, our SCADA system. Covers both water and sewer systems. If we had to replace parts on a per item basis, we could very easily run well beyond the $18,175. So the recommendations, we approve this contract.
Make a motion to pay the contract.
Second. With a motion second, all in favor, aye? Opposed? Ayes have it. 8B, HVAC humidification for Paintsville WWTP.
The main plant building is currently heated with a vent-free type gas heater. That's not optimal at all. Brings up health concerns. It's not properly maintaining the humidity in that space. We're cooling with the window air conditioner, same thing. It's not really taking care of the humidity. And a number of issues, especially in the basement, related to high humidity. And the proposal we have actually addresses that too in terms of a space heater and dehumidification system in the basement.
I didn't understand why you were going to keep the 3 window units.
So that lined out the bottom.
Yeah.
Now what we're looking at is replacing windows. It has the old original slide type single pane windows.
Oh, I got you.
No, somebody expressed really concern those things would break if you messed with them.
So that's actually for window replacement.
Yeah, that's a separate item, which I don't know that we need commission approval on, but I would certainly appreciate if you want to do that. The main request here is for the $14,738 on the HVAC and dehumidification systems.
How many bids do we receive on that?
Two.
Two.
And they're very similar amounts, a little different approach. Especially like the one on the unit for downstairs, which is sealed combustion chamber in that basement area. And I understand that's probably even code, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do we get the other one from?
Store lock. Excuse me, store lock.
For 2 different systems? What do we ask them to give us?
Split systems, and then something for dehumidification and replacement of the hanging gas heater in the basement.
You're taking out that hanging heater completely?
There's a hanging heater down there now that will come out, will be replaced with a new one with sealed combustion. In case you get gases down there, it wouldn't explode it.
Could be them working on
Well, maybe I don't understand. What exactly did you ask each one to do, Skurlock and Big Sandy?
To provide a split system, heating and cooling system for the upstairs.
Okay.
And something to replace the existing heater downstairs and provide for dehumidification downstairs.
Okay. And the one downstairs is the one that's ceiling hanging?
Yes. Am I speaking correctly now?
Yeah.
How do you do dehumidification of that?
It would,
That's just a gas furnace, isn't it, hanging?
That's two different things.
Yeah, there's dehumidifier units they're talking about putting down there.
It's like it's a condensing unit and condense the water and you would pump it out.
You got so much moisture down there and stuff, it's causing the valves and stuff to freeze up, stuff to corrode.
Okay.
Air quality's not good when you're down there.
So okay, so you asked for a split system for one area and then the other for the other. Did you get a proposal from each for the split system?
Yes. One came with gas, one came with electric.
Which one are we going with?
Gas.
And do we know why one with gas versus one going with electric?
Same one as the heat pump?
It's just what the proposals were.
So we didn't tell them that we wanted gas, price on a gas unit or electric, they just wanted to pick the
I believe
gas.
I told them the same thing when they come in and quoted it. So, the other thing is on the hanging unit downstairs, when Scarlett come over to quote it, they quoted one that was, I think, 10,000 BTU less, but it's not explosion proof. And to be by code, that has to be an explosion proof down there, which them quoting it that way, let them come in cheaper as far as just for that part of it. But by code, they couldn't get anything less than 55,000 to do the explosion proof. That's why Big Sandy quoted the 55,000.
So did we give both companies a bid sheet to tell them exactly what we wanted them to bid?
Not a bid
There
sheet.
was not a bid sheet.
I mean, because it looks like, from watching bids right here, we got two companies bidding two different things
They are different.
without clear definition of what was being asked for. Because, I mean, I wouldn't know what you just said, except, so I'd be concerned that one company would have came in with a unit that didn't meet code and the other one did.
Right.
We were looking for recommendation for what we needed.
Basically, one suggested electric, another one suggested gas, which we kind of figured with the gas, since it's our gas.
I assume the electric was probably based on like a heat pump type situation.
Yes.
Well, I had the same situation at my house, and this is exactly what I looked at. I looked at whether or not I was gonna go for a heat pump or I was gonna go for a split system with the gas. And based on my investigation, it was much better to go with the heat pump type system. But now, that's just my preference. And I know that the heat pump type system was much less expensive than the split for the gas.
What in this case, they're very similar.
How much?
Almost exactly the same, within a couple $100. And the difference does come in a little bit higher on this one we have because of the higher BTU and sealed unit on downstairs. I've got those. I think the one's a little hard to follow.
Is there any difference on the warranty?
I think the warranties are about the same, wasn't it?
They were.
They both meet the required guidelines for what's needed.
That's what they recommended, but there is a concern about the sealed unit on the downstairs.
But you said the one recommended the lower unit that does not meet the standards to be there.
Is the hanging furnace down there now, how's it?
It don't work. I don't know how long it's been since it had it. One type heated all you had was just looking off, so right down, they had to turn their carbon monoxide detector off on it because it set the alarm off all the time. So,
If you're looking at the 45,000 BTU non-sealed unit, this one we're proposing would actually be almost $400 lower but then you factor back into the sealed combustion, larger unit, it takes them up higher.
I wasn't so concerned about that as I was the other, between the split gas versus the electric, the electric being the heat pump.
You get any break from the utilities on the gas?
We're the gas supplier.
That should be a big difference right there.
So I figured you went with the gas.
That was our primary concern, and
That should be the total concern.
And if humidity is a concern, gas will be a little bit drier.
Yeah. So do you need approval of that or what?
Yes, it's beyond my limits.
I'll make a motion that we approve your recommendation for the gas.
A motion, we have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Let me back up. We need to do this from now on. If we're going to accept these proposals, we need to make sure that everybody's getting the exact proposal that they're supposed to get. Not apples and oranges. In this situation, we've clearly got apples and oranges. It's not fair to people that's trying to quote a price to us. If somebody else is quoting something that may not be exactly the same specs as what somebody else is getting.
You gonna do it over?
Well, I think it needs to be, if you're gonna take bids, you need to spec them out, and people need to know what they're bidding on. And it shouldn't be this, he's doing this and he's doing that, and you have back and forth. That's just no way to do business when you're talking about local folks making proposals to us.
And I do agree with that, but in this case, we were looking to them for their recommendations as to what we needed, because we didn't really.
Well, once you find out your recommendations and you make your decision what you want, then you should give everyone the opportunity to accept that based on the specs that we've determined that meet our criteria for what we need. And I don't think in this situation it was done. That's my only complaint with it.
Is if we were thinking we were going to use gas, we should have told them about the big gas. What do we do in this case, David?
Well, you already taken action, so that's fine. But I'm just saying in the future, I think if we're going to do this, we need to make sure that everybody's getting a fair footing to where you know exactly what the specs are.
Well, we can redo it, we can action our action.
That's why I looked at David, because I thought that's what you were asking of
You
me.
can do that.
Huh?
You can do that.
I just don't want to get in a situation where somebody comes in and says, look, I didn't get the opportunity to bid on it. You all asked me this, and this is what I came in with, and now the game has changed. I just don't like to do business that way.
Are you making a proposal?
Yeah, I said for future, that's what we should do.
Or do you want to correct it now?
I think it should be, in all fairness to both bidding parties, I think they should have been given.
I will make a motion that we rescind our last action and ask the administration to put forth a bid sheet of one asking for the gas,
Spec it out.
spec it out.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it.
Who was it got the gas? Who did the gas?
Sue said.
The big thing, the other.
8F.
We called the local contractors.
Yeah.
There we go, buddy.
Clifton Horn Pump Station.
We did it. I didn't think it's somebody.
They called them about a while back, he plays up Stonecrest, the big candy guy.
Oh, yeah.
The request here is for the approval of the purchase of another KL, or Homa cutter pump, which matches the pump we bought in 2017 for the Clifton Horn Pump Station. Got two matching pumps in there. The amount's $8,461. That other pump has failed, the original pump.
Is this one of those that's got actually 3 pumps in it?
No, this one's 2. The only station we've got that's got 3 pumps is Depot, I believe it or not.
make a motion to approve the purchase from KLM for $1,461.
Motion, do we have a second?
I'll say.
All in favor? Say
Can I
aye.
ask,
Oh, yeah.
what's the warranty? This new one?
Remember the max of a year?
It's at least a year. It's also prorated on theirs too, from 5, I think.
It is. Very accommodating contractor as well.
Are you good, Tricia?
No, I'm good.
Now, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it, hold it.
Pretty quick in the first part of the meeting, slow down.
8G, water line, flood damage.
Bob, are you prepared to talk about the situations we've got?
Yeah. We've, due to the flood, we've had a couple places washed out our 6-inch main lines. One's on Rock House Road in the center of a creek. The other one's out on Route 40 West, right in front of where Kevin Blair lives. In order to get these back in, we're gonna have to make some kind of tie-ins and dig through the creek, which Division of Water says no, that's a no-no. So that being said, we have no ways to tie it back in. So we looked at other options on how to get tied back in, and the only way we can find is really truly is to have bores made. We can run a bore on each one of them, tie them back in, stay out of the creek, bore through under one little creek, but it will be below the creek level, which is legal, and tie it back in on the other side. Right now we have jumpers in place, keeping people in water.
I'll make a motion that we declare these emergency repairs and accept the bid quote received from Atkins Excavating to do the needed repairs. And the amount on that was $62,425.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
How much will we get back to this from FEMA?
Local share, I believe it's 13%.
It'll depend on what the state puts in, so it could be 13 to 25.
Do we have to make a submission for this?
We will. Busy time consuming.
Still not been officially declared as closing here at the same time. They have said we have had enough damages in the area to be considered for it. But the state's enough, makes everything all right for utilities and cities and counties. So there's enough damage. There will be a declaration. It's just not signed off yet.
So I think that given the attitude of the Division of Water that we're no longer going to follow that practice of doing what we've been doing, we're going to have to use bores from this point on.
Pretty much kind of what they're saying. They're saying we can't go in and disturb streams and so forth on their behalf.
Do we have the equipment to do our own bores from this point
Not
on?
that size.
We're up to 2 inches, all we can do.
Okay, so maybe since this is going to be a recurrent problem in the future, we need to start looking at.
We've
our own
actually had a little discussion about that too.
Okay. Because I would like to be able to use, instead of doing what we're doing, is spend part of this $62,000 for equipment of our own.
Yep.
Well, you see, you've been thinking about what was the cost of this.
So this was just a discussion over the weekend.
Well, you want to hold off on this spending this $62,000 to Atkins to give us a chance to look and see what we might cost, see what we did in-house?
Your thoughts on that, Bob?
We can do that right now. We're getting by on the jumpers. I mean, and we're coming in warm weather. That's not going to be an issue for us freezing. We were worried about the freeze, but so far we've been lucky. Everything stayed floating, so.
But for right now, if you try to do it now, you could get reimbursed for it up to 75 or higher % back to get it repaired now.
As you said, 13%.
Those are part of it.
She said it could be.
Local share.
It depends on if the state puts in money or if it's just, if it's a straight federal declaration, it'll be a 25% match. Sometimes the state comes in with the 12 and leaves you with 13.
If it doesn't get, the declaration doesn't go through, then we get nothing back.
I can't imagine that we won't get PA. You, Bob?
Numbers keep going up.
Yeah, they're huge.
Okay.
The funding was supposed to be like 6.5 million for the state of Kentucky, and we went well over that, so it'll happen, but they have to wait till the president actually signs it, then that's when another agency will come in too and look for that.
And while we're talking about this type of item, we've discovered a creek bank failure along Route 40, not too far from our shop. It's across the creek from the John Central football field. How long would you say that failure is?
I'm gonna say approximately 200, 250 feet.
And it's exposed gas main and sewer force mains. We're gonna have to get this addressed too. That'll also be something we'll file for under the emergency.
Okay. All right.
H, aeration blower for wastewater
So are we
treatment.
holding off on that?
No, it was already motion and second.
Yeah, we just leave it as it is since,
Yeah.
since taxpayer dollars are gonna pay for it.
But to your point, I think we do need to check on abilities going forward. Mike, on the aeration blower, you care to kind of describe that a little bit?
We got 2 ditches up at the top of the plant. You got 3 blowers down the bottom, one of them was a standby. One of them that we was running on went down, so you can valve it over where we got a blower for each ditch right now, but we don't have a standby anymore. If one of these next 2 goes down, then the ditch is going down, which will be out of compliance.
And I believe you said the one that failed was actually the newest one,
Yep.
but it's still quite old.
Yeah.
This is old technology, not easy to find. What we have is for $11,950 from alternate sales and service.
Are we going to try to look into changing this old technology and something else?
Yes, we've been looking actually at both plants to update our aeration systems. That's something we're trying to include in, at least at the Honey Branch plant, in this 23 extension project. Because we'll need that increased efficiency to increase supply anyway. So.
Is this just through us investigating, or do you end up having to hire somebody to come up with a more efficient system?
That would need to be engineered.
So the discussion is, what they're talking about is we're getting one new one for $11,950. We're gonna take the other one that's also having issues with and rebuild it and reinstall it, and it's gonna be another $8,900.
No, that's our options, either rebuild one for $8,900 or buy one for $11,950. And we recommend to buy the $11,950 rather than rebuild it.
What kind of warranty do you have on them?
Mike, I believe that's a 1-year warranty, either way.
Yeah.
So how many are not working currently?
One.
They just went down on us.
There's 3 total, and you operate 2 at a time.
We just don't have a backup right now if one of them does go down.
I make a motion to buy the new one, $11,950.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed, ayes have it. So for $11,950, we need to keep the old one out, or they get the other one to court.
No, we can do it.
So, potentially possible in a few months, we could think about going back and having that rebuilt as a spare. 8I, the maintenance shop security.
It's Ankins.
Yes, we had previously approved surveillance. We were asked to get a quote on the alarm system as well. The quote for the alarm, it covers all 3 buildings, is $5,181. And that would actually reduce the quote on the surveillance system by $45.
So it's 5181 plus 6740.
To do the surveillance and the security, yes.
So a wired system is $45 cheaper than a.
It's not a wired system, it's just the communication between the two buildings. One was wireless, and now doing the alarm system that accommodates doing wired. It's actually a little more reliable and $45 cheaper.
Is this, what's the recurring cost on this?
$39.95 a month. Only on the alarm part.
Making a motion to approve the recommendation of Bob, the alarm system.
Well, tell me which number we're working with here.
Total of $11,901, which you asked for 5181 and 6740, is that right,
Okay,
Bob?
you've already approved $67.85, and what I'm saying that this would amend it by $45 if you approve the $51.81.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? We'll reduce the 6785 to 6740, and then we're gonna pick up 5181 for the surveillance, and we're gonna charge $39.95 a month. Is that right, Bob? So they're approving $5,181.
Let me ask you, you've already voted. Why would we do both? Why would we do surveillance and alarm?
So the original proposal was just to do surveillance.
Well, my question is, why are we gonna do both? Isn't that kind of redundant, have a redundant system?
That was the request of the commission.
I mean, if you've got surveillance, you know what's going on. So you can either do the surveillance, or to me, you can do the alarm. I don't understand why we're doing both.
The difference would be that your alarm is monitored. The surveillance, you would go back and see what happened.
That's when they call the police, when the alarm goes off, the police comes.
That's,
Well, I understand, but I don't understand why you would need both.
Because you don't, when you come back the next day, you're seeing something that's happened 12, 14 hours later. But the alarm goes off while it's there.
and the alarm system wouldn't cover things that happen within the yard, get into a building.
The surveillance does?
The surveillance, the cameras are covering your yard.
What else is it covering?
With the gates and the open space.
Interior?
It's not covering interior.
So it's surveillance is outside only?
Yes.
Okay.
8J, other new business.
The only thing I've got is the extension of the I&I project. We discussed doing some investigation primarily on our outfall on the creek bank. Because we know we still have issues in that area. And Bo Cook has been talking with Aikens about what they can do. Are you, well, I prepared this one up to.
I'll try to fumble through it.
Of course, we don't know what we're getting into. That's what the investigation's for. And what it is to establish through the whole, hopefully through the whole system, if you do it all, that way you would know where your areas you have problems and can prioritize where you need to work. Where right now, the way it's working is just from information that's 20 or 25 years old. And so the way we looked at it, it took we took the separate sub-drainage areas and divided them into, one would be heavy cleaning and then one would be light or normal cleaning. And we guessed at 3 areas, the outfall area being one of them, and then the adjoining, I think it's 7 maybe, and 4, but at least those 2. would be heavy cleaning. And, and we got a price per day to do that. And we estimated the amount of time that it would take to go through the whole system that is not, in those sub areas that have not been lined, that has remained to be lined. And then the rest of it, we took each sub area, took what was roughly the total linear footage that was in each sub area, subtracted out what has been lined, and then got a price per foot to do that. The additional thing that we're working on right now is to smoke test the whole system. And we've got roughly a daily cost on it, and we're trying to break it down on how long it will take. And we'll try to do that with each subsection or sub-drainage area. And that way you can combine the two to clean them and then to follow that up with the smoke techniques, just taking out smoke testing. But the utilities, I say but the utility system can smoke test also. Now whether the problem would be, do you want to do it, which you would have to go in and out to do it, maybe not be able to concentrate on doing it, or subcontract where somebody's just doing it and that's all they're doing until they get it done. So, but then again, you could probably come up with a combination of the two, where if you had a contractor to do that, then you were available to supplement that, then and that would make their time go quicker and therefore reduce their costs.
Is this something that could be done in-house?
The smoke detector, yes, that could be done in-house. It would just be longer amount of time to determine what your smoke detection is going to do is not only find out what's maybe in your main line, but what's off on your laterals. Where your cleaning is just going to clean your line, so you know what you got a break or a problem with an intrusion in it or something, or it needs to be cleaned.
Is that done with the big back truck?
That's done with the big back truck.
I saw that cost us $66,000. Is that something we could do in-house and save that $66,000?
For
using the back truck?
For which area? Well, it's broken down. You talking about just one area? Because the total cost for the system.
I thought for heavy cleaning it was $66,000.
That was for one area?
I thought that was isolated out from the rest of them. I looked at that.
Subsection 1.
Yeah, there was one.
How many subsections are there? 12, it's not touched.
Down in the corner there. It's broken off on each
It's
side.
$600 an hour for 11,000 for a total of 66,000.
Sub area 1, which is your main outfall, which comes down the creek.
Well, that's the only thing that we've got for heavy cleaning.
No, there should be. I thought there was 3 on there. That color?
I think it's color coded these to be
7 and 8.
whatever color that is.
But yeah, but you just got those per linear foot at a certain amount. So this would do, the total do it for the vac truck is 66,000, right?
Yeah, that would be correct. That's wrong with, that would be 66.
So the total use of the vac truck would be $66,000.
Yes.
Is that something we could do in-house with our vac truck?
That back truck, if you got enough line to do it, yes. Do you have enough line to go over the creek bank?
I don't know.
What are we at, about 500 feet?
I think so.
Um,
Probably 4 something.
We actually lost part of it, didn't we? She's running 400 feet between manholes,
Oh,
and you gotta get down over the creek bank with it.
I mean, I assume somebody else is gonna get a vac truck down in there, aren't they, unless they have a
They won't
longer,
be able to get down in there.
They'll be up on top and then we'll go on.
so they'll have a longer line than what we've got?
Yeah.
Can we not buy?
I'm sure we could upgrade our line, and then it comes down to the question of the time. Are you still maintaining your system? I think You got a concern about being able to stay with it?
Well, what you'd have to do too, on that outfall line is have pumps to
That's
pump
right.
around. And I don't know what equipment you have. The last time we were working there, I think you had a pump that would be able to maybe do it, but it would contaminate the tank. And you couldn't be using it for anything else other than sewage after that. So to answer your question, could you do it? Yes, if you had the equipment.
Because equipment and manpower.
Yeah.
Those manholes are at least 400 feet apart, probably.
But code now is 400, this is older stuff, so.
Yeah, 500 would be the old.
Looks like forever.
So we're looking total cost $225, is that what it was?
If you did everything.
Around 210.
That's without a contingency.
Correct.
Surely isn't asking for us to vote on that tonight. You're just sharing the information, is that correct?
Actually, still accumulating a little more information
Yeah,
anyway.
if you want to get the information on smoking and stuff.
How big a problem is that causing right now? What'd you say?
Well, you don't know till you find if there is a problem. If it was mine, I would want to know what's out there and be able to address it. So, but yeah, there's no contingency, no repair. You basically handle it all yourself, really.
This is just
No
investigation.
So we don't really know if there's how bad a problem we got.
Well, we know there's problems out there because we still haven't eliminated the I&I that we were wanting to eliminate, but it could be eliminated because we know that when we still have, although we have corrected some, we still have, when rain events come, we still have.
We don't have our flow meter in there yet, do we?
That's in process.
So we really don't know.
Yeah.
If we had our flow meter, we'd know more.
Yeah, more information you have, the better decision you can make.
And we do know we found
200,000.
we found a break a few days ago that would have been a pretty substantial contributor to it. When the creek's up a little bit.
That's just to investigate, that's not to cure it.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying.
That's right.
The cure may be much higher than the investigation.
But, yeah, but you know what you're working with then, and you can decide where your big problem is and then work over the years. Without that you're just really working in the dark.
400 years. For the past 100 years.
A few more years, we won't care about.
Speak for yourself.
That may have been the attitude of the preceding.
Fair.
Thanks, Luke.
Agenda item number 9, executive session.
Yes, we have executive session for potential litigation and personnel.
We have a motion to go into executive session.
Make the motion.
Have a second? Second. All in favor, aye? Do we have a motion to come out of executive session?
I make the motion.
Have a second? All in favor, aye? Opposed, ayes have it. Nate?
Insofar as report, the commission gave Bob and I directives on how to handle a matter involving potential litigation, and the commission addressed 3 issues involving personnel. The persons affected by those actions will be withheld pending notification of those persons. Otherwise, no action is taken.
So we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? All in favor?